We were talking about the recent Indo-Pakistan conflict, Operation Sindhoor, and its relevance in the historical context. We come to now to the second wave of invasions which happened on India, and that happened due to the rise of the Arabic empires in Middle East. The Arabs had become very powerful and they had conquered Saudi Arabia, parts of today what is called Saudi Arabia, parts of Iraq. And at that point of time, there were two big empires towards that side, the Byzantine Roman Empire and the Persian Empire, who were adjoining boundaries, but they had fought each other to great weakness. And the Persian Empire had become weak. So at that point of time, it was Sassanid Empire that the Arabs attacked and overcame Persia through a series of battles and reached the borders of India. The Caliphate ruling the Arab Empire was from Damascus, and it was the Umayyad Caliphate. They started launching raids against India, and very surprisingly for a land-based army, the initial raids they launched were naval raids against what today is called Thane near Mumbai, or on the Gujarat coast in Bharuch and areas like that. The interesting part is all these raids were repulsed, and then it was around towards the close of 7th century they tried to attack northwest India through the land route. But again, a number of invasions were defeated and they would not like to come towards India. At that time, there was a Raja Dahir who was ruling over Sindh, and the Arabs finally marshaled a big army under a young general called Muhammad bin Qasim, who then invaded Sindh. And there were a series of battles fought, including the famous Battle of Rao around 711 AD, in which I fought very brilliantly and very bravely, but was killed, and that led to the Arab capture of Sindh. Then they pushed further towards Multan, but after that their progress was checked because, as I said, India has been very resilient, and a lot of Indian kingdoms rose. The Rashtrakuta kingdom from south and the Gurjar Katyal kingdom from north rose, and they defeated the Arab armies. And at that point of time, they were between around 750 AD and 1000 AD. There were three large empires in India: the Rashtrakuta Empire in the south, all the way up to central India and sometimes beyond; the Gurjar Katyal Empire in northwest India, North India, and central India; and the Pala Empire in the eastern India. These empires unfortunately fought each other for supremacy, but for the 200 plus years during which the Gurjar Katyal Empire was very strong, they were the ones who thwarted the Arab invasions. And according to the Arab chroniclers or historians, the Gurjar Katyal Empire was a very strong enemy of the Arabs. And they said he maintained four large armies: one to fight his battles in the south, one towards the east, one towards the west against the Arabs, and one towards the north. And they said no greater enemy of the Arabs has been found than the Gurjar Katyal Emperor, the most famous of them being the great Mahmud Bhoj, who ruled for about 50 years plus. So these empires, of which very little has been written and taught to us Indians by the historians, actually were great empires on par with the Mughal, Maurya and Gupta empires, and played a big role in keeping invasions from the northwest, especially of the Arabs, away for close to 200 plus years. But the Rashtrakuta and the Pratihar Empire fought each other to weakness, and then North India became splintered into many small kingdoms. And then the fresh wave of invasions came from northwest, led by the Ghaznavites. That was Mahmud Ghazni, who was very infamous in India for his 17 invasions of India, destruction of temples, and loot of India. Ghazni's main opponents were the Hindu Shahi kingdoms northwest, who fought a very large number of battles against him under King Jaipal, Anandpal, Gurjalpal. The Hindu Shahi kingdom got wiped out, but they must go down the history of India as those great patriotic Indians who fought to their death against foreign invaders to keep India free from foreign invasions. Ghazni, as I said, was basically also lucky that in North and Northwest India there was no great empire or kingdom to check him. The strength at that time for India was more in Central India, East India with the Pala Empire, in South India with the Chola Empire, in Central India the Chandela kingdom with Vidyadhar and the Bhoj Parmar king. In fact, they say that Ghazni avoided these kingdoms, especially when he came up face to face with Vidyadhar. He pulled himself back and he definitely avoided fighting who was called Parmardidev by the historians that time, it was Bhoj Parmar, because they would have definitely got the better of him because they were strong empires. Anyway, after Ghazni went back, parts of northwest India still remained with the Ghaznavites, but then arose a very strong phalanx of kingdoms. There were the Chauhans in North India, there were the Parmars, there were the Chandelas, there were the Gadwals in central UP, and these were very strong kings. And the foremost among them in repelling the what now should be called the Turkic invasions were the Chauhans, and prominent among them was Vigraharaj, who was supposed to have inflicted many defeats on the Turkic invaders. In fact, unfortunately, that part of Indian history between 1000 and 1200 AD, when the Chauhans defeated